Yeah, we back. Now, today we're going to be talking about Donald Trump rolling out the red carpet for the European immigrants, right? Now, it reminds me, a while ago, I made a video discussing how when it comes to conservatism, different groups of men practice a different form of conservatism, right? The conservatism practiced by men in the Middle East is different than the conservatism practiced by the black men in Africa, which is also different from the conservatism practiced by the white men in the Western world and in Europe and the United States, which is different from the conservatism practiced by Asian men, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Every demographic of men have their own version of conservatism, right? So when you examine, conservatism in the context of the United States or the Western world, you have to understand that's a specific brand of conservatism you are dealing with, right? That's why as a black man, in order to fit into that box of conservatism, the Western version of conservatism, you have to kind of be a foot soldier for the white man. You got to be a sidekick for the white man, because that's what that brand of conservatism is all about, right? It's about putting the interests and the objectives of white men first. Now, take a look up on the screen. President Trump has signed sanctions against South Africa for their recent land seizure bill. He is ordering all aid to South Africa to be halted, and he is also ordering federal agencies to prioritize humanitarian relief and admission to the United States for the Afrikaner refugees. Now, the Afrikaner refugees, that's the white South Africans, right? They got to come to the United States to fortify the numbers of the white population. Now, the reason why he signed these sanctions because of this land seizure bill. Apparently, the president of South Africa recently introduced this bill or this law, I don't know, which is basically, taking back the land from the colonists, right? So Donald Trump and his man Elon Musk, they wasn't too happy about that, so they sanctioned them boys down in South Africa. Now, let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. Trump orders the United States to prioritize refugee resettlement of South Africans of European descent. Let's get into it. Trump on Friday directed government officials to prioritize the resettlement of South Africans of European descent through the United States Refugee Program, which he suspended during his first day in office. So this man done closed the program his first day in office, but he reopened it for the white men in South Africa, right? He reopened it for the European immigrants, the European refugees, right? Let's continue. In an executive order, Trump accused the South African government of discriminating against the Afrikaners, an ethnic group in South Africa made up of descendants of European colonists. Like I said in my video the other day, Donald Trump and Elon Musk using the Paul Kagame pretext, the Paul Kagame strategy to destabilize the South African government. The same way Paul Kagame justifies launching attack after attack after attack against the Eastern Congo for the last 20 years under the pretext of, I gotta protect the persecuted minorities in the region. I gotta protect the interests of my minority ethnic group. That's why I've been sending my military into the Eastern Congo for 20 years, right? Listen, once you justify the bullshit for one person, don't be surprised when the next charlatan comes along using the same pretext. Let's continue. Trump said in the order, the United States would no longer support South Africa with foreign aid if such policies, which he claims highlight a shocking disregard for its citizens and amount to human rights violations, continue, ordering U.S. agencies to stop providing any aid to South Africa unless deemed necessary. In his order, Trump instructed Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to prioritize humanitarian relief and admission and resettlement to the United States Refugee Admissions Program for the Afrikaners in South Africa who are victims of unjust racial discrimination. Now, let's take a look at some of the reactions on social media. This person said, they wanted a coup and got asylum instead. That's funny as hell. Yeah. See, they wanted Elon Musk and Donald Trump to give them what Paul Kagame was giving his folks down in the Congo, right? They wanted to send, armed insurgents to destabilize the government, overthrow the government, right? But they just gave them sanctions instead. Now let's continue. This person said, the Trump administration moving to resettle whites from South Africa to the United States is further confirmation about everything Pan-Africanists have been saying about unity. They have us fighting each other while they look out for and support each other against our interests. Now, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how fast mass deportation, the rhetoric surrounding mass deportation, ended up becoming about providing asylum for European refugees, right? Listen, I told you that's what it was about. All that nonsense about secure the border and mass deportation, all that shit was a smokescreen. All that nonsense was a smokescreen for their true intentions and their true desires and their true interests. And the fact of the matter is, in the Western world, there's a population problem. There's a population issue because they're not having enough babies to meet the replacement rate, which means the population will decrease if they don't take certain measures, such as boosting their numbers and fortifying their numbers through immigration, but a certain type of immigration, a certain kind of immigration, right? And this issue is not exclusive to the United States. It's a conversation happening across the Western world. That's why a lot of nations are moving towards conservatism, and they're all saying the same thing. They're all speaking from the same sentiment, right? Secure the border, protect the border, right? Because this population problem is happening not only in the United States, but also Great Britain, also France, Italy. Various Western nations are trying to fortify their white population. Now, what Trump is doing is nothing new. The United States has always held this policy of the main preference when it comes to immigration is the European immigrants first and foremost. Those are the ones that get the red carpet treatment. Those are the ones that have always gotten the red carpet treatment. Millions and millions and millions of white immigrants have flooded the nation since the formation of the nation. In fact, Donald Trump himself is the descendant of white immigrants. Elon Musk, white immigrant. Donald Trump's entire administration full of white immigrants. And a lot of them are recent white immigrants. Like some of them are white immigrant anchor babies. So, when they talk about immigration, don't fall for the smokescreen, because they're not talking about white immigrants, right? They're not talking about that. And notice how when it comes to the European immigrants, you never hear any talk about the type of criminality these immigrants might bring to the country, right? The crime is going to rise once you bring these immigrants to the country. There was a crazy story in the news just a few months ago. I did a video on it, but some white South African farmers had killed 2 black women and fed their body to pigs, right? But these are the people that's getting the red carpet treatment to come to the United States, because it's never been about criminality. It's never been about securing the border. It's always been about maintaining and fortifying the economic, political, and demographic majority and dominance of the white population, which is fine. I don't got a problem with that, because I understand what Western conservatism is all about. That's why I don't subscribe to it, because I understand that it's about maintaining the dominance, the economic and political dominance of the white majority. So I'm not going to be a sidekick or a backup dancer for the white man. Like I said, different groups of men practice different brands of conservatism. This is Western conservatism. When they say America first, they really mean white men first. When they say secure the borders, they really mean open the back door for our white brothers, which is fine. I understand, but I'm just pointing out the contradiction in their rhetoric. Now, let's continue. This person said, "We Afrikaners are a proud, hardworking tribe with strong Christian values. I speak for myself and thousands of my tribe. I want to say a massive thank you to President Trump and his administration for recognizing the problems we are facing in South Africa. These racist and unfair laws that have been forced upon us for years now, affecting not only the Afrikaners, but all white South Africans. Our forefathers tamed this South African land. They have bled and died on this land to secure a future for us. Majority of us cannot pack up and flee. This is our home. This is our land. We will fight for equal opportunities for all. It is our right to own property." This person said, "Many Afrikaners love socialism when the government built Afrikaner schools, created cheap electricity, prioritized Afrikaner workers, subsidized Afrikaner farmers, invested in Afrikaner businesses, etc., etc. But when it's time for black people to be prioritized in order to create equality and not superiority, now they hate it. Now they call it racism and demand free market capitalism. That's bullshit." Ha! That's the game, brother. That is the game, right? The enemy speaks out both sides of his mouth. And it's up to you as a black man to not fall victim to the deception and the manipulation and the contradictions. But yeah, man, this is going to be the new tactic in order to meddle in the affairs of other nations, right? They tried doing that with the nations in the Sahel too. They tried to say, oh, they're persecuting the Fulanis. The Fulanis are being persecuted in Burkina Faso. That's going to be the new pretext nowadays, right? That's going to be the new weapons of mass destruction, right? Oh, we got to protect the minorities under persecution. Man, listen, man, everybody can see through these games, man. But yeah, if you were supporting Donald Trump because you really believe that he was going to secure the borders and put America first, I mean, yeah, he is going to secure the borders and put America first, but you should have read the fine print on the contract, at the bottom in the small letters. Yeah, but the white immigrants, they're going to be flooding the nation. And Joe Biden did the same exact thing too, right? Joe Biden, when Russia invaded Ukraine, Joe Biden opened the doors for hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian refugees, flooded the zone with white immigrants. But notice, nobody said a word about the Ukrainian immigrants. Nobody says a word about the Russian immigrants. Nobody says a word about the various German, Irish, Scottish immigrants, British immigrants that come to the United States in large numbers and go unnoticed. Even the so-called patriotic blacks that want to secure the borders, they never talk about the white immigrants, right? They about to flood the zone with white immigrants. Them boys ain't gonna say a goddamn thing. Because like I said, when it comes to the Western brand of conservatism, you got to be a sidekick for the white man. So whatever the white man do, you got to go along with it. Whatever the white man want to do, you got to just, hop in the back seat and take the ride, right? You got to shut your mouth and be quiet. as a black man. See, I can't get down with that brand of conservatism, not me. Anyways, man, it's whenever car, that's Celine back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
Told me she loved me and said that it's real. So independent, ain't signing no deal. Feel like a king and I'm up at Cap Henry. I'm in the citadel, top of the hill. Trying to run up and we let off a cannon. Secret location, I'm keeping it sealed. You ain't retaliate, Franco Medina came to the country and he got killed. You ain't retaliate, Rafi and Mans. Thought you was loyal, thought you was real. Didn't even wanna come pick up the body. Had your man locked up, he died in the cell. Up at the palace, I'm throwing a party. Right on the south and I'm giving them hell. And my little shorty, she looking exotic. African features, she casting a spell. Run to the check like I work on my fitness. Wake up each morning and handle my business. Say that she love me, she want my genetics. Wanna get married and make it official. Wanna get married and have my babies. Up in the city, I'm riding Mercedes. Up in the city, they treat me like royalty. Feeling like Dolph, talking about lords. Spreading my wings and I had to get fly. Up in the top, an incredible vibe. Came from the bottom, I'm up in the sky. Give one look and said, baby, you fine. Wake up each morning and handle my business. They just be talking, you see me, I live it. Ride on my enemies, sounding like thunder. 1804, got that shit in my spirit. 1804 when I step in the building. 1804, that's word of my mother. Rock my women and die for my brother. Never gon' fall when I'm deep under pressure. Tell them we back and they better accept it. Move like a king, every step is divine. Ride on my enemies with no exception. Taking revenge and I'm taking what's mine. Pour up a drink and it's time that we toast. Watching my back, keep my enemies close. Only the family, I stick with my brothers. Cannon's position outside of the coast. Heavy artillery for the protection. Move like a general, stick to the code. Feel like a king when I'm up in the north. Beautiful women, they trying to get chose. Launch an invasion all over the south. Capture the capital with all my woes. Look at my energy and my demeanor. Dripping that ice and that's head to my toes. Lately I'm flexing all on the Americans. Flexing my muscle on missing my road. Just got a carriage just coming from London. Boy, that shit cash, I ain't taking no loans. Boy, that shit cash, that's fresh on the boat. Enemy know I got millions in gold. Enemy know I got choppers and cannons. How did I do it? They can't understand it. How did I do it? It's cause I'm relentless. Call me King Harry, my name is cemented. Call me King Harry, I'm up in the palace. Call me King Harry, I'm raising the status.